Okay. I'm just gonna start by saying, if you're a Star Wars fan, never watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. Ever! I finished watching it days ago, and I'm convinced that it changed me, man. Like, it damaged me somehow. I'm serious.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
So let's just get right into this review. There's no poster to talk about. I really just want to get through this thing so that I can go back to watching regular bad movies. That sounds weird, but I don't know how to describe this thing. I mean, when you say holiday special, special is not the word to describe this. It's special in the same way that you would look at a two-legged cat and say, "Oh, look, it's special." I'm completely serious when I say that. In all the years that I've done this show, this, I would have to say, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to just sit and watch and make it all the way through. And you're probably, sitting there thinking, what are you talking about, Mark? You just have to sit there and stare at it. It's not! Sometimes you just can't do it, and something goes off in your head, and you just have one of those moments. Do you ever have one of those moments where you just stop and think about your life and all the things that have led up to that moment in particular? Oh God. Why would they do this? Who watched this and said, let's put this on the TV for millions of people to watch? Sometimes I wish there was a device that I could just plug into my brain and just go through and delete stuff. Just permanently forget it. Throw it all in the trash bin and then empty it! Alright, so let's get into this movie. The Star Wars Holiday Special aired in November of 1978 and has a runtime of an hour and 37 minutes somehow. You can tell something's off just from the beginning of this thing. The introductions are hilarious. They introduce Mark Hamill, and just look at his expression here. It goes from staring to happy to kind of stunned. Maybe it's because he just suddenly realized what he had gotten into. Now in this special, we're introduced to Chewbacca's family, and I don't know who is in charge of coming up with the names for these characters, but his father's name is Itchy, and his son's name is Lumpy. Itchy and Lumpy! And both are equally hideous. I mean, just look at this. I mean, I'm definitely gonna see that in my nightmares at some point. It has to happen, I know it. Now I have to say, having Chewbacca's family in a Star Wars movie is a risky move. I'm actually scared for them. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that if you're a Star Wars character and you have family members in a movie, there's a very good chance something terrible is gonna happen. They might get decapitated, sold as slaves, die giving birth to your kids. You might have to imprison and interrogate one of them. They might get vaporized in a planetary explosion or burned to death. You might accidentally make out with one of them, have to fight one of them, or find out that one of them is an evil Sith Lord who just cut your hand off. Anyways, back to the movie, or special, or whatever. Now it starts on Kashyyyk, even though they call it Kazoo for some reason, in Chewbacca's family's treehouse, I guess, and you'll very quickly realize that there are no subtitles here for what the Wookiees are saying, so you're basically just gonna have to listen to them groaning the whole time, and believe me, it gets well past the point of annoying in about 5 seconds. So I don't know what's going on here. I guess Lumpy has to take out the trash. I guess they have plastic on Kashyyyk and other materials apparently. They must be fairly evolved. At first I didn't know what was going on here. I thought maybe Lumpy was contemplating suicide. I guess him and I were thinking very much alike at this point in the movie. But no, he's just going to cheat death. So now there's some more groaning about God knows what. I guess they missed Chewbacca. Probably as much as I missed the moment that took place 10 minutes ago before I decided to start watching this. At this point, Itchy or whatever goes and grabs some sort of cassette or something. Then there's some kind of interaction, and you're thinking, okay, maybe something interesting is going to happen. But no, it's just this, whatever this is, some kind of version of Cirque du Soleil on meth. Now, speaking of drugs, if you were high while watching this, no one could fault you for freaking out at this point. But it's at this point that you begin to realize that nothing is really going to happen in this holiday special. This is pretty much all it's going to be. A bunch of weird, random shit. So they call Luke, and this is just kind of an odd interaction. Even Luke doesn't want to waste his time with this shit. He's pretty much just like, oh look, it's Chewbacca's family. Great. He's obviously got more important things that he's working on, so it's kind of funny that he almost seems a little annoyed with this.
What's up? Chewbacca? Yeah, we'll bring him to the screen. I want to say hello to him.
So now they tell him that Chewbacca is late to celebrate Life Day. I guess that's the event they're substituting for Christmas in this thing. Anyways, Luke seems genuinely concerned. So now you're thinking, all right, here we go. Han and Chewie are in trouble, and Luke's going to go off and find them. But no, Luke just comes to the conclusion that, oh, they're fine. Don't worry about it. Now, all the Wookiees call Art Carney, and for some reason there's this long skit, which really only has the purpose to tell Mala that Chewie is with Han, even though they already knew that, and we already knew that. So now Mala is cooking, so she turns on a cooking show hosted by Harvey Korman, another funny actor who, seriously, even putting him in this doesn't make it any more watchable. And this is what we're doing now. We're actually sitting here watching them doing the cooking. And it's not just boring. There's nothing here. Why is this even happening right now? Okay, so I'm just gonna fast forward through all of this. Now, I'll just be honest with you guys. I'm gonna skim through most of this, because a lot of it, there's nothing to say. Art shows up, gives them a bunch of gifts for Life Day. Itchy beats it over some kind of virtual reality music video. Mala calls Princess Leia, and again, guess what happens? What do you mean Chewbacca isn't there yet? I guess they must be in trouble. Oh well, see you later. Then the Empire shows up, and I really can't think of how they would have made this more uninteresting. It seriously feels like a chore to just sit and stare at the screen at this point. And why are the stormtroopers holding their blasters like that? It's weird. So after sitting there and watching a Jefferson Starship music video for 5 minutes, the Empire decides to finish up their search of the residents. I don't really know how that works. Think about it this way. The police come in with the search warrant to search your house. I don't know what you did. And then you say to one of them, hey, come here and watch this music video for 5 minutes. And they just do it. In what world? Now, during this, Lumpy or Frumpy or whatever starts up some kind of machine, and it's a cartoon starring all of the other characters, which doesn't make any sense to me. So, Clumpy is watching an animated cartoon of his friends. What? So, the fictional world of Star Wars is observing another fictional world of Star Wars? And is this supposed to be Luke Skywalker or Willem Dafoe? But in all honesty, the cartoon is probably the best part of the movie because something actually happens. Anyways, right after that, the movie goes right back to boring you to death. Bumpy's got to put some sort of transmitter together, and for some reason, they thought it would be a good idea to make us watch this 3-minute long video. Again, completely uninteresting, not entertaining, nothing happens. I guess this is supposed to be funny. And then the Empire sends out a video for the Imperials to watch, which turns out to be this cantina scene and song with B. Arthur, which, again, there's nothing more I can say that hasn't been said already. I'm skipping right through all of this. I hate it! So Lumpy sends out a transmission with the transmitter that tells the Imperials to go back to the base, but they leave one stormtrooper behind. Now this is just kind of weird. Han sneaks in and just kind of slaps the gun out of the stormtrooper's hand, and then somehow the stormtrooper trips and falls, breaking right through the railing and falling to his death.
Oh, everything's okay now. Here's your daddy. Boy, is he grown.
I don't know why I find that so funny. I just do. Just, here's your daddy. My God, the emotion just jumps right off the screen and slaps you in the face, doesn't it? Just when you thought this movie couldn't get any more weird and awkward, we have this moment. Now, what's going on? I have no idea. I'm checked out at this point, guys. This has reached an even higher level of bizarre and confusing now. So, they light some snow globe candle things, and now they've been transported to some place? Somehow? Leia sings some song, there's some kind of montage, and I'm done. The Star Wars Holiday Special is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of terrible movies doing this show. But this, as a Star Wars fan, this is just a huge shot right below the belt. Even George Lucas said he would destroy every copy if he could, which unfortunately for him and us is now impossible, because this was only aired on TV once, I believe, and there was no video release, obviously. So the only way this got out was through people taping it on VHS when it originally aired, and then uploading it to the internet decades later. So unless George invents a time machine, this will always exist. Better get working on that now, George. Or just forget about it and enjoy your $4 billion. Damn, I really want some of that. Just a bit of that money. Imagine a world where there's a new episode of Bad Movies every week. I am working hard towards that this year, guys. I am. I want to see if I can get up to a video a week. It sounds ambitious, but hey. I really should have had an inspiring quote prepared for that, but didn't. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a few more drinks, take a cold shower, try and forget everything I just watched, and pray this thing doesn't show up in my nightmares tonight.